After his time in America, Sehgal wanted to come home, except he didn't know what that was exactly. But the moldable environment that Delhi offered him gave him the space to truly become. What Delhi gave him was a sense of belonging. In return, Sehgal gave Delhi some of its largest, most celebrated public art pieces. An artist is inspired by his surroundings, and if he thrives, the environment thrives with him. The Flight in Akbar Bhavan is one of the most iconic sculptures for its time. The bronze bird in a position to take off is lending a sense of nervousness and excitement at the same time, ready for its next journey. It totally resonates with Sehgal's personality of adventure and seeking new experiences, and Flight would be exactly that. Fort Foundation sculpture is one of Delhi's most iconic sculptures. For its time, the size and structure of the bronze was intriguing to so many in the city. Rising tide is usually associated to change, and for Sehgal, it truly was the only constant. He believed that progress and development were the only key elements of evolution, and that was not just in a social structure, but within oneself. The Captive is one of his most popular works, especially for the place it so proudly stands in, the India International Centre. The Captive is a true tribute to the man, for his ideals seem protected in a place he called home. The rather large bronze sculpture was cast in Bob's Foundry in New York and later shipped to India. The Tree of Love signifies nurturing a relationship for lifetimes to come. Currently, in the Society for Development Alternatives, an ecosystem of environmental safekeepers, the Tree of Love has always been a sentiment close to his heart. Partition impacted the man at a very deep level. After all, he was a young man at an impressionable age, and this event changed him forever. Anguish Cries, that is a part of the NGMA collection, clearly describes pain visually, but it's probably the sound of the screams and the echoes of the shrill yelling that gave him sleepless nights. Cynic was first carved out of wood and can be dated back to 1961. The lucid facial structure, a surrealist style, is a revelation of the craftsman he was. His experiment with wood was perhaps the result of his former education in physics and later in art that allowed him a better understanding of mixing material and play with scale. The rounded curves move just enough to meet the angular features of a human face. Luxembourg was an adopted home with an emotional bond. The French sculpture has been adopted by both countries, India and Luxembourg, and today is a symbol of their budding friendships. Sehgal has contributed to 31 sculptures in public and institutional spaces around Delhi NCR. His contribution to public art was not with the intention of just beautifying spaces, but each one of them have a socially benefiting message. Sehgal enjoyed making busts of multiple people. He made busts of icons, people who inspired him, and actually people who made a difference to the world. You can look at Lala Lajpat Rai, which is actually in the Lala Lajpat Rai Park across the museum. One of the largest sculptures in New Delhi for its time was the Aiming for Excellence. A towering 23-foot sculpture is a fine example of his precision to execute. The sculpture is a reflection of progress and encouragement for the youth of tomorrow. At the age of 79, he worked tirelessly for over 8 months or more to make the country's largest sculpture. The partition of 1947 had a huge impact on the artist. His personal journey as an artist began from displacement. It began from when he lost his home. He understood hunger and homelessness that gave him the sensitivity to connect with the voiceless. Sehgal's work symbolizes a passionate quest for social justice and human dignity. Sehgal's years in America allowed him to break free from the Indian art school education, and he developed his own style, his own method of creativity. One of the influences of his practice was allowing shapes to take its form without thinking of its consequences. He was fearless in his practice, and he manifested really large, bold structures, some of them celebrating some of man's biggest wins and biggest celebrations. The Amar Nath Sehgal private collection is the largest collection of a single artist's works in a museum in India. J23 was the studio of the artist that gave him the refuge of a troubled mind. The result of bringing together the museum has made us realize the importance of documenting history. We are a community responsible of protecting the past for what it is. This is no tribute, but a celebration of a life fully lived.
You have to leave it to the people. I can't be just a judge of my own work that way. You have to leave it. You do the work in all sensitivity, with all dedication, and with your heart in it. But it's left to the society how they take it.